In 2024, for the first time in a single calendar year, global investment in AI startups operating within the construction and architecture sector surpassed $4.7 billion US. That figure represents more than a milestone. It represents a signal. And what makes it even more striking is that more than half of this capital flowed into just three technology categories: design automation, construction robotics, and energy performance optimization. Right now, somewhere in a well-funded startup office, engineers are building software that will fundamentally change the way you work. In 2026, we need to understand precisely where that money is going, and, more importantly, what it means for architecture and construction professionals like you. Let us start with the big picture. Just 5 years ago, construction was one of the sectors that technology investors were most likely to overlook. The conventional wisdom held that it was too slow to digitize, too encumbered by regulation, and too dependent on long project cycles to generate venture-scale returns. That perception has fundamentally changed. According to PitchBook, a leading global venture capital data platform, investment in construction technology grew at a compound annual rate of 31% between 2021 and 2024. To put that in perspective, fintech, one of the most aggressively funded technology categories of the past decade, grew at only 12% over the same period. Construction tech is growing at more than 2.5 times that rate. So what triggered this reversal? 3 forces converged simultaneously. First, the arrival of generative AI shattered the technical barriers that had long made design automation impractical. Second, a structural labor shortage in the construction workforce reached critical levels across developed economies worldwide. And third, tightening carbon regulations drove an explosion in demand for energy-efficient building design. When these 3 pressures collided at once, the construction AI market transformed almost overnight from a speculative future opportunity into an immediate investment priority. So where exactly is the capital concentrating as we move into 2026? Based on current investment data, 3 categories stand out clearly. The first and largest is design automation and generative AI platforms. The same image generation technology that made tools like Midjourney widely known is now being extended into 3-dimensional spatial design. AI-native architecture platforms based in North America and Europe are already running beta services that generate architectural floor plans from natural language prompts and automatically export BIM-ready files. This category alone exceeded $1.8 billion in investment in 2025. And the business case is compelling. Projects using AI-based design verification report approximately 41% fewer construction defects. Meanwhile, AI-powered BIM clash detection has been shown to reduce requests for information by roughly 38%, dramatically cutting the back and forth that delays projects and inflates budgets. For context, an AI drawing review tool can flag coordination errors in as little as 3 minutes, a task that may take a human reviewer several hours. The second category is job site AI, combining drones, computer vision, and autonomous robotics to detect construction errors in real time and execute repetitive tasks such as bricklaying and rebar placement. The third is energy performance optimization, AI, which simulates and automatically tunes a building's energy consumption at the design stage, receiving a direct policy tailwind from carbon neutrality mandates being enforced across the European Union and other major economies. At this point, the most important question is the practical one. What does this investment wave actually mean for you as an architect, interior designer, or construction project manager? This is not simply a story about new tools appearing in the market. It is a story about how the structure of professional work itself is being reorganized. Here are 4 concrete steps you can act on right now. First, treat AI literacy as a core professional skill, on par with CAD proficiency. The ability to write effective prompts and direct AI systems toward precise design outcomes is rapidly becoming a baseline competency, not an optional enhancement. Second, position yourself at the intersection of BIM and AI. Platforms like Revit and ArchiCAD are gaining AI plugins at a rapid pace, and sites that deploy AI-powered BIM clash detection see approximately 38% fewer requests for information, fewer delays, fewer cost overruns. The practitioners who master these integrations first become indispensable to their teams. Third, bring AI visualization directly into your client communication workflow. Presenting real-time AI-generated renderings at an initial client meeting changes the dynamic of the conversation and can meaningfully improve your project win rate. Fourth, invest deliberately in the capabilities that AI cannot replicate: on-site judgment, regulatory interpretation, and the empathic understanding of how a client truly wants to feel in a space. Understanding global investment trends is essential, but the adoption picture on the ground tells a different story, and within that gap lies a significant opportunity. Across most markets outside the established technology hubs of the United States and United Kingdom, AI integration among small to mid-size architecture and design firms remains in its early stages. Adoption rates in these markets are estimated at roughly 15 to 20% of active practices. Meanwhile, early adopters in highly digitized construction environments, Singapore, the Nordic countries, and parts of Western Europe are pulling ahead quickly, particularly in markets where BIM compliance is already enforced by public procurement policy. The United Kingdom, for example, made BIM Level 2 mandatory for all centrally funded government projects in 2016. Where BIM infrastructure already exists, AI integration accelerates exponentially because the structured data layer is already in place. There is an important implication here. The gap between early adopters and the broad majority of practitioners is not narrowing yet. It is, right now, an open window. Professionals who move into AI-augmented workflows, while most of their peers are still hesitating, are the ones who will not be replaced by this shift. They will define the new standard. Let us close with a forward-looking view of 2026. The most likely near-term scenario is the rise of what we might call the hybrid design studio, a smaller, AI-augmented team that handles the output volume of a much larger one, delivering higher quality and faster turnaround per person. This is not a speculative projection. Bjarke Ingels Group, one of the most internationally influential architecture firms in practice today, has stated that approximately 60% of their initial design drafts are now processed with the assistance of AI tools. That figure signals a structural shift in how elite firms operate, not an experiment. From an investment perspective, three categories are clearly emerging as the hottest destinations for capital heading into 2026. First, natural language-driven spatial and interior design platforms, tools that let architects and designers describe a space in plain language and receive a buildable, code-aware design output. Second, job site safety monitoring AI computer vision systems that flag hazards and track regulatory compliance across active construction sites in real time. Third, automated lifecycle carbon accounting solutions, software that calculates a building's total carbon footprint across its entire operational lifespan and feeds that data back into design decisions at the earliest possible stage. These three categories are already attracting structured portfolio investment from major global venture funds, and in most markets, there is no dominant player yet. The professionals who begin building expertise in these areas today are positioning themselves to become the most sought-after practitioners in the field within the next 2 to 3 years. Today we have mapped the terrain where $4.7 billion is already in motion across design automation, construction site AI, and energy performance optimization, and we have seen that 2026 is shaping up to be the year these forces move from early adoption into mainstream practice across the global industry. The central question is whether you experience this shift as a threat or as an opening. History gives us a useful guide here. When CAD was introduced, the architects and designers who adapted fastest did not become irrelevant. They set the new professional standard. When BIM emerged, the same pattern repeated itself. The practitioners who moved first became the benchmarks that everyone else measured themselves against. I will follow the same trajectory. So here is the question we want to leave you with. Looking at your current day-to-day workflow, what is the one task that AI could realistically transform first? Share your answer in the comments below. Your responses will directly shape the topics we explore in future videos.